A very good morning to you. Thank you for staying with us. This is the weekend edition of Newsfeed AM with myself, Sol Plaatje. Now, the family of ANC stalwart Sol Plaatje has expressed devastation following what they call an unauthorized erection of a fence around the veteran's grave. The family says the provincial government has made it so that they have no access to the grave on visits. The provincial government has refused to speak on the matter, saying it has been in conversation with some members of the family. Our reporter Hitekani Magwedz is at the gravesite where the family has converged. A very good morning to you, Hitekani. Thank you very much for joining us. During my headline, we saw visuals of the family actually busy pulling down the fence.
Correct. The family is the direct descendants of Sol Plaatje, the grandsons, the great-grandchildren rather, converged here in Kimberley from various places in South Africa to talk about this matter. They had been trying to speak to the government for a while and trying to stop them from putting this fence around the gravesite of Sol Plaatje. And what they say that they've been forced to do is what they're precisely doing today. You can see the elders are here. This is one of the elders. In fact, this is the senior elder and direct relative, direct descendant rather of Sol Plaatje, are removing the fences. Even the younger ones are here removing the fences that are placed around the gravesite. The family says the government has desecrated this area, this grave, and really some of the visuals from that meeting were quite painful and quite emotional because some of them were crying, saying the grave of Sol Plaatje was desecrated, and Sol Plaatje was never in jail, and he shouldn't be placed in jail or in a cage in his death.
And Hitekani, should we be reading anything into the timing? I mean, why is this being done now, especially with Kimberley being in the spotlight with the forthcoming ANC celebrations this week?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we would be naive not to read into it, considering that the president, we have confirmation from the ANC saying the ANC president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is going to be visiting and laying wreaths here during the week next week, leading up to January 8th. So it seems there was an intention by the provincial government to be seen to be, involved in trying to preserve the legacy of Sol Plaatje, but it seems they would have went about it wrongly, in that we've tried to speak to the provincial government, and they said they were in conversations with somebody in the family. However, the family and the leadership of the family and the Sol Plaatje Educational Trust says they were never contacted. However, the person who was contacted is allegedly an illegitimate descendant, or illegitimate member rather, of the Sol Plaatje family, saying she got married into the family and therefore has no right to speak above the senior leadership of the family and above the Sol Plaatje Educational Trust and above the spokesperson of the ANC. So, however, the ANC has said that through its provincial secretary that they are in conversation with the family, and it seems as if it could have been a rushed job, and consultations may have not been done correctly and with the right people, and that seems to have stepped on the toes of the senior leaders and senior elders of the Sol Plaatje family. So, it just throws a cat among the pigeons in terms of the ANC's plans for next week, and to have the president here, and undoubtedly he'll come here and find holes around the Sol Plaatje tomb or grave, and certainly there will be questions that will be asked, and that's if the provincial government doesn't hastily come and meet with the Sol Plaatje family.
And Hitekani, lastly, there was a press briefing that some of the family members had earlier on, where they mentioned that they've got no problem with the president and the nation celebrating the late Sol Plaatje. But did you get a sense that they will be attending the celebration on the 8th of January?
Well, some of them will not attend. Some of them were saying that they had brought together the money, the little money that they have to try and come here today. Some have not even made it. But there's a direct descendant that is in Botswana, and because of financial problems, he hasn't been able to make it. But they say that they will not be able to stay until January 8th and the events that will take place there, the laying of the wreath, and that they have nothing against the laying of the wreath. They have nothing against the ANC, but emphasizing that things need to be done correctly, and there needs to be a respect to the graveside of these the stalwart Sol Plaatje. So it seems as if the family really doesn't have anything against the events that will be taking place tomorrow, and that's why they are not stopping anyone from coming here and laying wreaths. In fact, they're saying that to emphasize this, they don't want the fence around the graveside because it will stop people from being able to come and visit the gravesite. So it's clear the family doesn't have anything against the ANC. In fact, the spokesperson is in ANC colors, but they will not be able to stay because of financial reasons. And you can imagine, too, that the family is quite heartbroken and shaken by the way the government has gone about building this fence around the gravesite.
Thank you very much. Let's leave it there. Our reporter Hitekane Magwedze coming to us live from Kimberley, where we can see the family members of the late Sol Plaatje have indeed pulled down the fence that was erected just around his grave, and according to the family, without their consent.